Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Thanks a lot for joining us. We're here, we're live, and pretty well loud enough considering we're just coming off of another huge Sorare game week. Thanks to everyone that's joining us. Fist bumps. We've got two rares to open. We've got a wee bit of ETH and some good stuff. We might have a wee bit of a mess about as well. Thanks to everyone that is joining us. It's my birthday weekend as well, which is why I thought we'd definitely do a wee live stream regardless of the quality of the rewards, as long as we got some in. There's a bunch of us here joining us live. If you are joining us live, as you guys know, I've not opened the rewards yet, and if we want them to be good, we need the yield like button to be smashed. So if you are here joining us live, support the channel, support the cause, help my RNG get a little bit stronger, get a little bit better with a few of you smashing the like button. We've dimmed the lights, we've got into the nighttime reward opening mood, and if you are joining us live, of course, let it be known, get the fist bumps on arrival, and let me know if you've won anything this week. How did your luck get on? Did your likes from the deadline show come back to pay off in a big way? I want to hear about it, as well as everything else in between. You know, we've been dropping a lot of strategy videos on the channel over the last week or so, covering the new landscape as it is. So hopefully you guys have been getting tuned in and enjoying that. And there's plenty more to come here and there. But if you caught the deadline show with me and Harry, you'll remember I was quite buoyant. I was quite excited coming into this weekend. But sadly, not all the chips fell the way we would have liked them to. In Champion Europe, it was just an absolute non-event. There's no point even speaking about that. Much the same for really the bottom end teams I had here, sadly. They just didn't really get off the ground. The 270 team, you know, Kyogo and Vasilj were the first two cards to run. So I did have a little bit of hope in this one going into the last kind of ebbs of the game week. But Keaton Park's red cards just totally done me in there. And again, like I said, these teams were marginal non-events. Maybe one or two cards have turned up. One or two players have done their bit. But this is really where the pain began for me this game week, because Kyogo scores two decisives. Joe Hart loses a clean sheet right at the end, which is absolute pain. But Kieran Tierney started on the bench again and was unlucky not to score maybe a little bit better from the bench. I watched the game, he was pretty decent, he didn't really miss out on any DAs or anything. And then Timo Werner also on the bench. Sadly, we didn't go for the bottom target in this game week. This was my last weekend, my last attempt at going mid-target. And if Tierney or Werner had delivered anything, or even if Joe Hart had hung on to the clean sheet, maybe we might have just squeaked it in. But sadly, I don't think it wasn't to be, you know. So no pressure gained in this, and it feels like a good score from Braze as captain, a good score from Kyogo has went in the bin, and this is really where the first kind of pain team happens. Now again, similar to the 270 team, Tani and Kubo were the first two cards in this team to run, so I knew this team was dead. Anyway, I'd totally given up on it, and then what happens? You know what happens. Santi Rodriguez gets a goal. And then Leverkusen are playing. Frimpong gets a decisive. Captain Wirtz gets a decisive. Brings home an 80 score. 84.5 before any multipliers or anything. But I knew it was dead as a dodo anyway. I had to go and peek and have a look. 35 points off a card with the goalkeeper and the striker delivering nada. So that was a bit of a sore one. And the Celtic cards, again, like knowing the game and seeing how it went. Losing the clean sheet at the end. Without Dysamaida getting a goal, this team was never going to do anything. And really the same, unfortunately, was true with this one. Skorupski up with an absolute hero performance in goals again. Taylor getting back to his best form. And the GG super rare midfield that I was mad excited about really did not deliver. Kimmich, for the first time in living memory, outscored Goretzka in a game week, went back to his best form, of course he did. And Elias Garcia got a booking and gets subbed off in this game early. He was not at the races whatsoever. So yeah, this team, unfortunately, despite the optimism around it, just did not turn up, did not deliver. And this team, guys, honestly, I thought was going to make and save my game week, because right off the bat, we had Sorare dropping a huge clean sheet against Girona. We had Christopher Ajer scoring against Burnley. And we had Captain James Forrest come off the bench for Celtic and getting the third goal in the it was 3-0 at the time, but the 3-1 win. I just thought this team is cruising. It was projected first all the way going, and then Sevilla versus Celta Vigo happens, and Starfelt is on the fucking bench. Would you believe it? He came off the bench, which I thought brilliant. Well, maybe he can luck box his way into a last man tackle or something. It wasn't to be. And on the subject of last man tackles, by the way, I'll come to that in a second. Someone we didn't play. Starfelt has a huge L15, so he could be replaced by any super rare easily, especially with defender Ajer already been in this team. And I thought I had the last glimmer of hope with Depay, who would have been a sub. We knew that. He was the sub striker. It was between Depay, Stuani, and Guedes, I think it might have been. I'm not sure Guedes done anything, although starting. And anyway, he didn't deliver either. And we didn't even get a card. We didn't even get a card. We had 3 huge scores, decent cap. Well, maybe we could have captained Dyer, but you know, some big scores and nothing, sadly. This champion team is ultimately a bit of a non-event. I can't believe Mandanda got the clean sheet against Marseille. Huge score there. But both my strikers delivering decisives was quality. But the thing with this team being a bit of a non-event is Couto and Martin were the first to run. And just with how weak their scores were, it would have really took a monumental effort. And really, all told, it's not really that far away from getting to the cards. So it's a little solace to collect nothing. But hey, it is what it is. And this is the first team that delivered. Now, this was hanging high on the leaderboard throughout Saturday. Kyogo double decisive. Captain Mikey Johnson with no decisive action brought in a 62, which is incredible. Malti Amundsen 59, Backman on a 70, and Ao Tanaka on a 97. It was a huge score, and Saturday it was like, wow, man, I could really finish in a good card spot here. Amundsen was their last card to run, and although the multiplier does kind of save him ever so slightly, I would have really loved him to drop an 80 or something like that. At the moment, we were 54 points off the top, so he would have really needed to bang 100 out for that even to be a possibility. But even if he dropped an extra 20 points, we would have got into the top 15, and that would have been a much better card reward than what we're on for today, which is a tier 3 out of this. We did go mid-target, which is cool, so we collected that today. And I might, you know, have a wee spend with that. We'll see what happens. And then the other team that delivered. Now, last week, this team, without Carter Vickers, so I didn't have him. We had Scales in the team. It was an all-star lineup that picked up a card for us. I forget who the card was. It might have been Chukwuemeka or something like that. I don't think it was that great a card, in all honesty. But Was, Moutinho, and Fitz have just gelled together at FC Barcelona, and they have become a powerful trifecta that I'm going to really struggle to keep together in the new format. So we'll see how this section of the club kind of rolls together, because Moutinho and Was are one-season plays, you know, and if we get, you know, the rest of this season out of them, fantastic, and who knows further and beyond that, because they're totally, you know, don't connect with anything else in the gallery. So it's good to see them combining with Fitzy Boy, 85 with 1 decisive. Incredible score from him. And this was really kind of funny as well, because, not funny, but Marshall gets subbed off at half-time for Jojo Wallacott, which if any of you guys, regular viewers of the channel, will know, I just bought 3 of his rare a week ago or something. So good to see Jojo get some minutes. We'll see how all that kind of shakes out in the end. But that stifled this Marshall. He should have been picking up a clean sheet in this game. And, you know, 5 points off a T2, 32 points off a T1. There'd have been some other Marshalls in the leaderboard, I'm sure, but they would have also benefited in kind from their clean sheet being collected. So it's hard to say exactly where you would finish, but certainly tier 2 would have been on the cards for me, I would like to think. So we're picking up 2 tier 3s. We'll get some coins, we'll get some ETH. We've got some stories, we've got some war heroes like Ao Tanaka, one of the most prolific clubs cards at the club, picking up another reward, as well as some of these Celtic and New York cards. And then the one-season wonders, of course, Moutinho and Was. But I did mention last man tackles or something to that effect earlier. And the one card, at the last minute of the deadline, we found out Scales was out and we found out David Lopez was out. And I bought a Wanpei for very, like, not much. And he was the obvious replacement for David Lopez. And I didn't even consider putting him into any team. Should have played him over Carl Starfelt, because within literally, I know this looks like his 90-minute performance, but literally within the first 30 minutes, he had done this. He'd scooped up 88 points, did nothing for the rest of the match. I don't think he clipped another bit of all around. And I was sitting looking at that thinking, oh my God, how did I not play him somewhere? So that was a real slap in the face for me. Like, if I'm going to play David Lopez, just as the poster child for this, if I'm going to play David Lopez and I've got the hand, you know, if I was going to play him, then play Wanpei, you know, like, so we'll call it the Wanpei rule or the David Lopez rule. You guys can tell me what you think. But everyone joining the live chat, thanks for bearing with me. We do have 2 rewards to collect. FC Barcelona has had a little bit of success on my birthday weekend, and hopefully we'll be adding some nice new pieces into the trophy cabinet. There are 2 tier 3s, high placing in cap 240, which could be okay for us, and challenger high placing in there. So could be Celtic. That's kind of what we're crossing our fingers for in particular there. But we wouldn't mind another Dominic Fitz. The club is more than happy to take on board another card, another player that could just synergize well into the club and give us that bit extra, je ne sais quoi into the selection process that we need, that Fitzy has provided us here. We get the EFIN, we get the coins. I'm actually quite happy with that amount of coins. I don't think I've got that amount in a little while. I don't know what we think should be better. 53rd in Challenger or 63rd in 240. I don't know what we think is going to be better. I'm going to go with what scored more points. So we'll go with the Challenger one second, right? So we'll say that should be the bigger card, okay? Right, so first of all, guys, how many of you have liked it, right? There's a good amount of you here, especially for the amount of likes we've got on YouTube, so thanks very much. But could we get, if you haven't hit the like button already, you know who I'm talking to. Get your phone out your pocket or jump quickly back onto the window, hit the like button, cross your fingers and toes for me, rub your hands together and say the magic words. I don't know what the magic words should be. But anyway, he is Italian and he's a forward for Empoli. Oh, champion forward, Nicolo Cambiaghi. Now, this is not a guy I'm familiar with. Let's have a wee peek at Nicolo here. Nice wee 3D forward. He is, wow. Is he more meh? He's had a wee bit of form way back when against who knows who. Jesus. Oh, wow. Good bit. Serie B Demons. So if he stays with a relegated Empoli, I'm not writing him off, in fact. Nicolo Cambiaghi, if he's a Serie B Demon, then he's got a place in my club, no two ways about it. And that leaves us with the final reward to open, which is we're finishing 53rd in Challenger Rare. Higher points, higher placing. So maybe we get a slightly better card. The Cambiaghi there, I don't even know what his market value is. It's not going to be much with his consistent L15 of 42 or whatever that would be. Oh no, did we get a glitch? You think that's because I did the whole check your player thing? That's a bummer. And so guys, we've got a little bit of suspense. It's not going to be as good as the road reward opening, but our tier 3 for finishing 53rd in Challenger Rare is Dennis Dillman, an 18-year-old goalkeeper. Does he play? No, he doesn't. If he played, that would have been a lot of fun. He's played one game, got an 85, which, whatever. That's a bit disappointing, isn't it? That is rather weak, I think. Finishing 53rd, right? But let's just say 50th. I'm quite disappointed with that. But again, are we going to get a little bit of that twist of fate, that Bachmann luck? So this is Istanbul Başakşehir. This is the new kind of CFG connected club. So maybe it gets a wee fancy loan to, I don't know, Brazil or some nonsense. I don't know, but is there a silver lining here? I don't think there is. I'm really stretching for it. I don't think it's there to be found. So Dennis Dillman, yeah, that's a bit of a weak one. Maybe need to look into that. But Cambiaghi, quite chuffed with this guy, especially when you check the table. Empoli can't be doing that good in Serie A at the moment. Can we do it on Sorare native? Can we have a wee peek at Serie A? If we click about, yeah, we can. Good, nice and easy. No, they're not going to get relegated. That's not good for me. We really want Empoli to crumble and fall all the way down the table here for that to be a good card win, which I don't know if that's a good thing or not for Cambiaghi and Empoli and my support of them, because he's not going to be, he is not useful as a champion in season, even not even in season. I don't think this is helpful, is it? We want this guy to be back in Serie B. Is that where he was back here? Yeah, look at all these grey badges. Must be Serie B. Yeah. Oh, he played in a Serie B team. So yeah, maybe he goes back to Serie B because he's just no cutting it in Serie A. Maybe he goes back on loan or something to Pordenone Calcio. That's who he seems to be playing for, I think. Yeah, Pordenone. Yeah, let's get him back into Serie B, guys. Come on. How old is he? 23? That's what we need to do with Nicolo. Now, we've got a little bit of a wallet, guys. Dillman is a bench player. He's one injury away from playing. Okay, cool. Well, fine. I guess it's another backman, I suppose. Quinny, when you do a gallery review, could you tell me what I need to do? 3 champ teams, 2 challenger teams, and a prem. Yeah, of course. JD, we'll be doing that stream. We did the poll for it. It's going to be Thursday night. I've already scheduled it on the channel. So Thursday night, 8 o'clock UK time is when we're going to be doing gallery reviews and lineup builders and all the rest of it. But as you guys can see, it was my birthday and I did go out and I did treat myself to a few bits and pieces. I managed to get a 1 of 10 Tony Villa. Now, as I mentioned on the End Product podcast last week with Stish, I'm hoping this Girona collection can activate a bit of 4D chess with maybe the ones that are crap, like air quotes, you know. maybe they revert back to being La Liga 2 players, because that's where they were with Girona. Girona's rise up the ranks is down to the infusion into the City Football Group, of course. So the players that were incumbent there, are not La Liga standards. Antonio Villa here has been out all season with an ACL, not played, and when he does come back, Girona, or maybe I don't know his contract status or whatever, very likely he gets a loan to La Liga 2. And that's a midfielder that for 30 quid on my birthday, a wee 1 of 10, with a nice wee collection bonus on top. I thought, hey, why not? We got a Kyogo rare in for the same amount, 40 quid for a Hatate, and we managed to get a Carter Vickers in before we knew Scales was going to miss out. So getting a big CCV in was quality, and then we managed to get some collection pieces in, Dane Murray and Vata, trading out rewards we'd won from previous weeks and stuff like that. So there's not many Vata rookies, and I managed to get the one-off rookie because Pavel Trader had it. Thanks, Hendo, I think was the tip-off on that, or the reminder at least. So yeah, got the collection bonus up and going, and we've got a wee bit of a wallet thanks to that little bit of threshold. So I've been scouting about, I've been nosing around these classic collections, especially for Celtic, that I need to firm and buff out. But I've got a bit of a dilemma, right? So I'll maybe exercise this with you guys at the moment. How many of these are live? 50. These aren't going to tell anyone what we're up to, are these? Now, this is the main dilemma I've got, right? Number one, I do have a bit of an urge, a bit of a yearning for a champion forward is the punchline, right? But for a few different reasons. To test out the strength of my current cohort of champion cards in the 7 game weeks that we've got classic and in season modes for. And I don't have any midweek forwards. And I do have a midweek goalkeeper in All Black, as well as a few other bits and pieces playing midweeks here and there. But I don't have a forward of any description. And as I scratch and a crawl through the collections that I've already got a footprint in, and what I'm talking about, if you've been seeing the videos that have come out recently, especially I didn't put it in the thread. There's a big thread that went out on Instagram threads and on Twitter earlier today. But the video that came out right before all that was called Pro Collections. You'll find it dead easy on the channel if you go back into the videos and look for it. But I'm looking for clubs I've already got a footprint in, and 2-3% is the kind of name of the game with a lot of these collections. 3% is a bit of an endeavour, so 2% is the mean, is the kind of norm. And I come to Leverkusen and I see somebody like Moussa Diaby listed for 40 quid. I've just picked up obviously that mid threshold, which is lovely. So if I bought, I'm thinking I maybe try and send my wee offer below that and see if we get lucky. But, I know he's not been on fantastic form all season, but he's still Moussa Diaby. He's still quality, he's still decisive, capable. He's still an AA guy when he plays. And I've been following Villa enough that, I can probably know when he's going to play and not. So I quite like Villa. So Villa, I quite like this Diaby thing. So we've not had the ETH load into our wallet, it seems, when I do this. So let me just refresh the page. See if that gives us it. So I was thinking about sending a wee DO, a wee direct offer. Dillman. Oh, you received an offer from Shaforko. Oh, wow. Okay, we've got a wee card to give away. Nice. Okay, cool. I'll ask you guys a wee question. Thanks very much. Shaforko, fist bump. Happy birthday to me. St. Patrick's Day to you all and all the rest of it. And Lucas Ahijo of Real Oviedo. Now, I'm actually really excited. I'll come on to this in a second while we're live tonight, guys. But Sorare announced another La Liga collection thing, which is fantastic. And for me, further emphasizes the value and I don't know if adopting is quite the right word or if it is buying, but getting involved in the champ leagues that have the league licensing, Prem, La Liga and Bundesliga, because there's just extra tie-in with Sorare and these things. They're all trying to maximize the partnership for mutual gain for all involved, So we've got this guy locked in. We'll give him away tonight as well. Thanks very much, Shaforko. You're an absolute legend. So what I was going to do is send a wee offer away to this Moussa Diaby, see what the wallet is. I wasn't too sure how it would 0.024. So yeah, if we send 0.0122, so that's like half the wallet there, isn't it? Now maybe he sees that as a bit cheeky or whatever, but he's a bot swapper and all the rest of it. It's cash. It's an out of season classic card. Well, we'll never see. You never know. We'll see if we get lucky with that. Right now, I've got a backup plan. Now I thought if we get this, that's got a good plan A. Okay, but what I've also got is I've got another little plan B to try and fill out with this little threshold I've picked up. Just kind of round off some of the edges that I'm trying to do with the collection thing. Now, the Celtic collection from the very first season, I am in a unique position because no one else can get anywhere close to 5% on this collection. It's just impossible. I own enough of the Champion Edition cards You're not going to get any of them on first owner basis, of course, and blah de blah, all the rest of it. So I'm going to be the only. I'm on verge to do it, of course. I'm on 680 points, so I'll be the only person to have these cards on 5%, which is going to be useful for Vickers, McGregor, maybe Abada, who knows, but certainly Kyogo and Daizamaida. So that's like a spine, that's a full team. And then all these other guys are kind of tertiary if I ever use them or need them, or they're handcuffing another player or whatever. Bit of a hole with the goalkeeper, which is good fun. So I don't really need to look at this one too much. There is still a card or two to be picked up just to get it to the 750, but it is basically there when my 90 days do kick in. And with this one, it's not quite the same, but I've still got some gaps to fill out with some cards that I need to, like I say, just round off the edges and make sure the steam train, or the cumulative total of 3 lineups worth of quality is kind of achieved, as it were. There's not too many that are available in that kind of threshold price range, but there's one or two that have been kind of listed, and just, last sales might go for us and all the rest of it. So might send another wee DO out that way, because the way it's been going at the moment with this collection game as well. So let's open this up, because this really got me excited, because that Girona collection, of course, I'm doing very well with. And this is La Liga collections across all seasons. So extraordinary prizes for each La Liga team, 18 clubs, excluding Real and Barca. 3 collectors will win one of these amazing prizes below: VIP tickets, a signed jersey, and regular game tickets. For Barca and Real, 1 collector per team gets VIP tickets. You get 2 or 2 X entries. Is that 2 tickets? I'm not too sure, but 1 collector for VIP access and seats to their chosen game, subject to availability. So it's a wee bit more tricky with Barca and Real. You kind of pay the premium there because only 1 payout there. Collections from all seasons and scarcities are eligible for the draw, but they need to have hit this criteria, which I think is pretty fair, by the way. It's not that bad, no matter what scarcity you play in, to be hitting these types of collection points of a club that you should be entered into such an event as this. So, and again, I do think this won't last forever, but I do like how long it's lasting for, and how maybe over time, again, this is speculation, but it might not always be limited to in-season, but it might not always be all seasons. It might be, the last 2 seasons only, or, something like that. We'll see how things shake out, but I like that a lot. T's and C's apply. You can click into more details for that if you want to. And then, yeah, your collection and all the rest of it. But anyway, this is the games that are available. So some of them are quite tasty for if you were, like, I know, because again, around this time of year, game week 250, me, John Nellis, Hendo, Alex Emery, we went to, as well as my cousin Jack, by the way, we went to, where did we stay again? What's the name of the place? I forgot the bloody name of it now. But anyway, we stayed in a villa halfway between Elche and Valencia. We took in 2 La Liga games over a weekend, which was fantastic. We both won cool. Well, we didn't really win cool cards. We kind of did. We kind of didn't. It was an awesome experience anyway. But the highlight of the 2 games, Valencia and the Mestalla, was fantastic, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong, but Elche at home at Barcelona was phenomenal, because the little tiny stadium, which was sold out because Barca were in town, you're right next to the state, you're right next to the pitch, you're right on it, everyone's in there. It was a cool wee stadium as well. It'll be the same for a lot of other grounds and venues across the Liga. Of that, I have no doubt. And we had a great time. Would highly recommend it. Good, honest football and fun. No 2 ways about it. And seeing like Girona, that's the one I'm in the mix for. It's at home to Barca, so that would be quality. A mini derby of sorts, But even Granada at home to Real Madrid, that would be a quality game to go to. No mistake about it. Villarreal at home to Real Madrid, again, phenomenal. Sevilla, Barca stands out. Almeria, that's Elche vibes. Almeria at home to Barca, that would be quality. Getafe Atleti, that's a derby. That would be like hostile. That would be a good taste to that. Don't think I've quite got the Getafe footprint, sadly, to be entered into that. Sociedad Madrid, that's a double A fixture, by the way, maybe not quite triple A. And Mallorca at home to Real Madrid, that would be special as well, going to the island. So there's a few cool games here. A few dud ones as well, maybe Athletic and Osasuna stands out in that regard. Valencia Betis would be like an aficionado La Liga match that you get to see, 2 big historic kind of La Liga clubs of sorts. Historic venue with the Mestalla and all the rest of it. Las Palmas Sevilla could be fun. But anyway, really cool event. And yeah, I'm quite buzzing about it. I don't need to do anything. I've already got my OG Super Rare collection. So for each club. I'm probably, the super rare thing, I don't know how they weight it in the draw, but I got that Arnow shirt. Because I think I was I was the number one super rare collector. I'm the number one super rare collector by a fair stretch. So I don't think that this is like that way, where it's number one basis. It's like random draw. So, but if it is for one club, for each club, 3 collectors will win one of Amazing. So do you think that could be number one's super rare and limited? Or do you think it's 3 randoms? Interesting. I'd love to get something else that Juror collection make me feel so good about it. but yeah, I thought with that guy we sent the Diaby offer to being a bot, we might have got a slightly quicker response. But see, one guy I had a wee bit of faith in that we might get a quick response to, that I think, do you know what? With that Diaby offer out, let's just give this a try, because I don't think he's listed it again. No, I don't think he has. But I've been looking at, getting these Celtic cards kind of filled out or whatever. And when I was looking at Dyson Maedas, I noticed friend of the channel. Is it going to come up easy for me? It is. Gator guy or Gold guy or Croc dude, whatever we want to call him. Has been trying to sell his Dyson Maeda, and I thought, oh, cool, I'll buy one off Gator guy, because that's quite cool. I like doing that, but he's not got it listed. So what would Gator accept? It's 0.013. Now, what do we have in our wallet? You might even be watching if you are fist bump, by the way. 00122, which is 31 quid. Last sale is 34 quid. One before that, 21. So I think there's a wee chance he accepts that, by the way. So let's just ping that over. It's probably going to slap me in the face. But we've got a Diaby offer out. So if that got accepted by some miracle, then we would be in a situation of... Oh, did I send a Diaby? I did send a Diaby offer. I did. Then maybe we, with a freshie, get a wee Dyson and a wee Diaby, a wee double Ds to go with the double Gs, Could be a good one in that sense. So we've sent that over. And Gator Guy is notorious for, he's probably going to be spitting his tea out if he's not listening to this right now. Like, Quinny, how dare he try and lowball me, is probably what he'll be saying. And I'm sorry. But I didn't, it's the balance I've got. And I've sent an offer out for something else. But I don't think there's anything up here that could be kind of hustled with that freshie. I've kind of almost filled this collection out, which is cool and good fun as well. But yeah, quite chuffed with, I was going to say, I'm quite chuffed with the rewards, in fact. I think this guy, we're kind of, we've got a card to give away as well. So there's like 60 of these here. So fist bump to you all. We've sent out 2 little cheeky offers. We'll see what happens. We've got a wee card to give away. Not this guy, but I was kind of excited about this guy. Let's delve into him for a wee second. Let's see how excited could we get here. I'm trying to find his name so I can grab it. But it's not letting me do it on this page here. Does it let me do it here? Yeah, it does. Awesome. So let's just hit a wee copy and let's transfer mark this guy. Let's see his squad status. Who's he on loan from? Who owns him? Yada yada. What do we want to know about this kid? So contract expires this year. On loan from Atalanta. Ooh, that's fun. Contract there expires 2028. Interesting. Atalanta produce good players. That gives me a wee bit more, interesting than the guy, let's say. But yeah, he's not really shown to be, from what we've seen on Sorare earlier, a minute ago, current season, yeah, he's not really been delivering at Serie A level, has he? So let's see, 28 games. Is that 4 goals? That's 4 assists, no goals. And then can we see the season before? This would have been in Serie B. No, this is Serie A. For who? For Empoli last year. Interesting. The year before that. Maybe that was... It's hard to tell the seasons sometimes on Sorare. Yeah, Serie B with this Prodinone team or something, isn't it? And where did they play? Left wing predominantly. We could play everywhere. Let's hope he goes back on loan down there. So yeah, it's a funny one. If he is, because if he is at Atalanta, they will definitely loan him out again. But it's to who? Empoli seem to have had him on a 2-year loan, which ends this year. So yeah, not that. So that one, I guess the kind of jury's out, as it were. But with Denise Dillman here, this is just another R-ball. We won another one of these guys. Let's just hit rare. And then position goalkeeper. We hit one of these guys recently. R-ball, 3 months ago. I think we got this guy out of under 23 as like a tier 3 or a tier 4. And yes, it's just another one of these guys, but it's just say throw him into the back of the club, and maybe that guy shows up in La Liga too. That's kind of what I'm crossing my fingers for now. And maybe this Dillman guy, who's not even showing up here, is he a goalkeeper? It's pure weird. He's not showing up in these filters at the moment. But he is a goalkeeper and he is rare, so I don't know why he wasn't showing up there. But yeah, so he's just another one. Under 23 forever as well. So that could actually pay off quite nicely at some point. We're just going to throw him in the back. But to win it for finishing like top 50, top 60, these sorts of places, it's a little bit naff, isn't it? Good evening, Jordan, Jonathan, JD, everyone, fist bump, Shaforko, Charlie Dunbar, Scott Marshall, of course, FPL veteran, John on us, but Agent Cooper. I hope Sorare accidentally reward you an Mbappe super rare. Yeah, Agent Cooper, I wish that was the case. I wish that happened. And yeah, I think I'm kind of up to speed with most of the comments or whatever. I don't know if we're going to get, I was hoping we could get some wee rapid responses to some of these wee freshie offers because, you know, Tuesday night, most people are on collecting rewards, maybe listing some cards, maybe thinking about doing some bits and some bobs. But we have here a Lucas Ahido to give away. Now, I don't think he seems to be playing that often. He's been donated by Shaforko, and it's a card we're going to be giving away for nothing to one of you guys. I'm going to say right here, right now. I think we've been doing the show long enough. We've touched on a few random bases enough. But we're going to give him away. And I think we'll do an old-fashioned fastest finger first, okay, on... Okay, right. Here we go. Earlier in the stream today... Oh, 2 seconds. How would you go about investing for next season? I'm unsure. So, do we tackle a topic right now? Okay, I tell you what. I'll set up the giveaway, and then we'll talk. Mike55 here's got a good comment that we'll bring up. So I'll set up the giveaway. You guys can fire out right answers, and I'll tell you what Mike55 is saying, okay? But earlier in the stream, I was bemoaning not selecting Wanpei. What score did Wanpei bring in, according to Sorare data? Like, what score did he bring in? Not his card, not my card, just what was Wanpei's score? And, yeah, to 1 decimal point. So 0.1 number to 1 decimal point. And we will give away, yeah, 1 decimal point. It's all it's needed anyway. Fantastic. So we'll give away the Ahido to whoever does that. But Mike55 here is saying, how would you go about investing for next season? I'm unsure whether to get a few old season rares or more old season commons ready for classic. I'm guessing you mean limiteds? Yeah, limiteds. So to be honest with you, I think the prices you've seen with that Diaby potentially. Oh, so you're in a delicate situation now, right? Of where do you build your classic teams from, right? So I'm in a position where I'm building a lot of classics back from stuff I bought in season at the time because I've fortunately got some points there, right? But so if I was looking to build a classic, you know, where am I building my classic routes right now? A good option, depending on what you've got already, might be the current in-season, because the current in-season will be classic, and there will be actually quite a harsh cliff off of the current in-season, because they will be, you know, they are inflated now because of the 7 weeks of in-season utility that's forthcoming, and when that is lessening or gone, those cards will go down, but this will still be auctioning, you know, so there is a nice route to get in-season, off-season discount to get a good collection bonus in to what could be your classic cards for next season. So if you even factor that in maybe to the price or the known inevitable depreciation of paying the premium for an in-season card, it can maybe make the whole thing a bit easier. If you can handle the in-season card for more than 1 season, then the premium maybe is less of a problem because you get higher XP on it, you get collection bonus to boot, and then you go on to use the card for 3 or 4 seasons, like I've done with some of mine already. Yeah. So I would think about that. So the first thing you have to ID is the club before you're IDing the season, right? Because really there's a huge difference. If you're looking at old season, so rares unlimited is really budget. Now for me, if you're considering rare, it means you've got the rare. I'm assuming you've got a rare budget. And if we're looking at, I'm just going to use Leipzig as an example here, right? you're going to have to get a goalkeeper. You know, let's even look at maybe Sociedad is a good one as well because they're in season at the moment. So if you're to get a goalkeeper, you're still talking about a good couple £100. So if you've got the ability to still capture a number one keeper, this is in season right enough. We bit of a premium on him. What about an old season one that's not that old? Like, who do I have maybe from last season? We could just check. Maybe the Sevilla one. Nah, nobody in here's a starter. Hideki. There we go. Let's look at Hideki. He'll be a good monarch. He'll be a good gauge. £200. So yeah, if you've got the ability to get a rare keeper, then I don't think the question of scarcity comes into it. The better value is going to be with rare if you see the full thing through. But if you're only able to do part of the thing at rare, it's not going to work. It's, again, if you've seen the video like top 3 things, blah blah blah, you need to be working towards 3 lineups that are as good as each other. You know, so you won't have that from day one, but as long as you can see where the finish line is with that, well, I've got a good collection from this season, from this team. And then, like, if you think about that contender video I put out yesterday, maybe like this season, you really like the crew that River Plate have put together and you go get River or whatever. But maybe in the off-season, Zagreb have got a huge off-season discount. So, you know, it's what clubs are you going to connect and what clubs are you going to line up together? Because then it's about, especially if we're looking at Classic, Leverkusen's a great example, right? Because I'm looking at this with the Diaby, and I'm thinking, fuck, I wish Bailey was in this season. But if I did have last season Leverkusen, I could have Diaby, Bailey, Wirtz, Frimpong, and then I might even have a great choice for player number 5 to get me to the 2% marker, with all of them being second-hand cards, as it were. So it really depends. So once you've got scarcity lined up, which I think if you're considering rare would have to be rare, but one, you need to identify club, and then for Classic, you really need to identify, if you're buying Classic from the market, the best vintage, the best year to go into Leverkusen, Lyon, PSG, Barca, whoever it might be, because that will then dictate, because then it's like, well, to get to 2%, you need 5 cards. And getting 5 cards out of a good club isn't hard if you do your diligence and you can shop around. And even with a team that you might want to try and push to 3%, the only example I've kind of got to show in my club would be the Leipzig guys, which aren't near it at the moment because I tried to batch sell them, so they all lost their 90 days together. So they'll all climb back to 3%. But you're looking at this kind of volume of cards. We've got a special edition there. Not many of them are first owner. But it's not that many more. But if there's a vintage of a club that you're like, wow, I like lots of these players, then doing the maths, 3% is the ceiling, you know, for these other ones. So it's about, because again, some of these older ones, some of the cards are mad cheap if you can still get them to click together well in terms of who they play for and what region they're in. Bro, I have a question. Should I sell my Jupiler Pro players? Keep them for our playoffs? I don't know, Tony. If the question is like in terms of, yeah, well, if you're looking to get out of them, this is the thing with selling cards that I think everyone misses. And like, I don't sell cards that often. The right answer, by the way, for Wanpei is 88.1. So can we see who the right answer for that was? Cameron M is the first answer with 88. I did say to 1 decimal point. Jordan 87.7, 88.2. Anafi Bam unlucky. JD91 88.6. Good guess. But Kai Charlie Alpha Indigo, as it's spelled, 88.1. Congratulations. Drop your club name in the chat and we'll get that shipped over to you now. But when you're selling cards, to come back to the point here that was asked by I've lost it here. Where is it? Tony. Is you need to give the buyer something to buy. You know, like if you're selling a card that's not going to be playing for 3 months, why is someone buying that today? There's no reason for them to buy it today. So for someone to buy a card today, there needs to be a reason. They're playing this weekend, the transfer's just been announced and there's a mad rush for them or whatever. So you need to give the market a reason to buy the card off you. Maybe through price, primarily is what people go for. But in terms of actual utility and the ability, you know, and actual desire where people might go, oh, there's that guy, I could use him. You know, you're selling the utility. You're not going to get it yourself. But that's it's only a tough pill to swallow if you've never done it before. But if you've sold cards into utility, I've done it a bunch of times, you get used to it. And unfortunately, I don't win enough. I haven't won enough cards over my entire Sorare career because I've had a real necessity to sell into form and to sell players on peaks, you know. Kai887, congratulations, my man. I think there was a wee old multi-account there, Kai. What's the guy's name? Avidaggio, or maybe a false account, or maybe something like that. Let's see. Boom, we've got him going. We've got him going. Kai887. Lucas Ohio, thanks a lot for supporting the channel, getting involved in the giveaway tonight. And Shaforko, thanks very much for supporting the channel by giving that away. Offer's been sent. Kai887, congratulations for entering, and thanks for entering. So, and then Mike's come back. I was looking at getting 5 or so good clubs covered in each of the divisions, or focusing all of my money in one division. I would focus, you know, so again, this is going to be a concentrated effort, right? If you've seen Harry Trades' stream earlier today with Jonathan, who won Cap 240, teams like that will still do well in the regions, right? But 2 things. Number 1, to build a team that looks like that still delivers, they're going to need to have every inch of XP available. We're talking 12% minimum. Second of all, it's probably not going to be quite as eclectic as that, where it's a 5-card trick anymore, where it's 5 guys from 5 different places. It's probably going to be 3 clubs covered, you know, and you can you can say whatever combination of players you want out there. So I think one league is the number 1 kind of starting point for any strategy you're looking to build from zero, or if you're looking to just audit exactly what you've got at the moment, because the way special weeklies are going, the way collection game incentives and that kind of thing are going, and even just fixture correlation is number 1, you know, for access to the region. Like, if you don't have a goalkeeper playing the same time as all your outfielders, you're screwed, you know, even if it's only once a season. That's once a season you're down, you know, that you're going to be raging about. So, you know, you 100% need to build from one division, first of all. But I do think that champion, you can get away enough with the weekend mentality where you're building a team for weekends, but you do then maybe need to, and you maybe budget-wise would be wise to anyway, avoid the teams that qualify for Europe, just less rotation. You know, they're weekend-centric in terms of their objectives and their priorities every game week, and you know, they will rotate in the cups to compensate, to make sure they can play the weekend. That's always nice when teams do that for you, rather than maybe the other way around. When they fancy a cup run. Mikey Baston, fist bump, my man. Good to see you in the house, legend. So yeah, I think you have to iron into one division. So again, if I'm looking at these examples like the Sociedad or the Leverkusen, I'm maybe building. So what I'm doing, if I'm buying something now, I think this is a really good example of a team. The goalkeeper is expensive, right? Just on pounds, 340. I do think you could do better than him out there in the market at the moment. But the rest of this squad is really cheap, and there's a lot of good quality in a squad like this. This isn't unique to Sociedad. There's lots of squads across Champion Europe, challengers and contenders as well, to maybe a lesser extent and in a different way. But there's lots of decent squads around there that, you know, you could get in season. Maybe you get a couple of game weeks of utility out the in season thing, whatever. But you've got a high collection game set in place. You've maybe got, with, you know, like with a good squad like this, imagine if they didn't sell any players, which they almost certainly will. But imagine they didn't sell anyone. If you can get the starting 11 nailed, and let's say the starting 11, let's say 6 guys are decent. That's 2 teams worth of players on good collection bonus. That's your defensive stack. That's your midfield pair. That's your striker, whatever. And, you know, like in reality, a few of them will transfer. Maybe they go to La Liga 2 and they're useless. Maybe they go on loan to La Liga 2 and they're useless. Maybe like Cho, one goes to France. Maybe one goes to Germany. Maybe a few of them go to England. You know, Zubimendi's been linked. For example, where is Zubimendi? He's been linked to Arsenal quite a lot. Tierney's actually owned by Arsenal, so he'll be going back there. And Marino has been heavily linked to Juventus. So, you know, like if a few things like that shook out for you, an in-season would transfer into a classic kind of well. Because again, if Marino goes to Juventus and becomes an even better midfielder, you then have somebody like Turientes, who's a tenor, probably playing in Marino's spot. Now, does he do as well as Marino? Does he maybe get dropped? Do they maybe go and buy somebody? All these things are possible. But with a club, and again, you're identifying clubs. Club is the most important part of this. is who is the club, then these guys are prone to playing academy players. Olis Agassi and Turientes are getting minutes at the moment, and you feel this in preparation of Zubimendi and Marino perhaps leaving. I know this club quite well because I've got players, I watch them. You need to know clubs to that kind of level. I think you don't need to if you're watching this channel, but and you're asking me advice. This is the kind of the way I would. Again, you can use the rest of this season to really hear and see what clubs are shaping up, what their priorities are for the summer into next season, etc. Now, if you start switching on to them now and you get into playing their cards, and that's when you really get the feel and the grasp of a team, is when you're using them, no two ways about it. That's the giveaway accepted. Fantastic. I was hoping that was maybe a wee Diaby or a Dyson, maybe walking into FC Barcelona in the late this evening. We've sent out some direct offers. We're trying to get some classic cards on the cheap ourselves, maybe for champion as a forward, or maybe another wee Celtic cards to boot in. But yeah, so I think if I was building classic at the moment, I would look at trying to catch like maybe an in-season situation where there's you've got the benefit of knowing that a lot of the more expensive cards are going to nosedive in the off-season, but probably has a contingent of guys anyway. Like, who's the starting centre-backs here? Lyndon Morand, like 58 quid, 60 quid. The starting fullback, Traore, is probably the best bet, by the way, 20 quid, because he plays all the time. Was the captain at Rennes, is a leader in the team. Mendes, 80 quid. Some of these more expensive guys will go cheaper, of course, but even some of the cheap ones, let's say, that are playing, can be useful. And this is just an example squad. There's plenty of them out and around there. And, like, I'm a fan of going into the old ones, but when you go into the old ones, the problem you've got is so many more of them are dispersed, So you're then looking at a ceiling probably of a 2% collection, and you probably will have some 2% collections come into your life, like I do with like Leon, Valencia, Kawasaki. Who else do I have floating around there? Sociedad we've already seen, of course. Sociedad, Kawasaki, Atleti, I'd like to get to 2%. And again, I was looking at this Trippier, 58 quid. I could buy him with my threshold, couldn't I? But I need a defender. I'd rather have a forward at the moment, to be honest. It gives me a bit of midweek action. So it's knowing what is a 3% club, what's a 2% club for your collection game. And if you can get the first owner bonus available from the in-season guys, it does open the door for it to be a 4 or 5% classic strategy for you, which is going to be something you want and that you're not going to get from the older editions of classic cards, if that makes sense. So this is more the in-season angle I'm now discussing with you is one that you follow through to 4 and 5% overall, ideally, if you've got that ability to get some on auction, especially because some of these guys will auction, again, just to use this as the example. Is there anyone that like Marino doesn't have anyone listed at the moment, right? Probably some people just want him as a reward or something. But what's his last auction? Went for 30 quid. So his next auction, that's a first owner card. Then you do that with enough of. It's not that hard to get to. If you can do first owner, like getting to that isn't as daunting as you might think. And again, having that in classic in future, but again, you need to kind of own and hold into the classic edition for the real full circle payoff to come in. Do you think goalkeepers will go back in when it's update day? They are cheap right now. I do think goalkeepers are quite cheap right now overall. My main problem individually, personally, is I don't know what goalkeeper I need because Celtic, I don't know who they're going to buy. And for champion, I've kind of, I'm not really rushing around to get goalkeepers, but I do like the look of backup keepers. I like how cheap a lot of them are. I went out and got 3 Jojo Wallacotts just in case Marshall doesn't. Yeah, his contract's out in the summer. Maybe this guy comes in to replace him at Hibs, and then I've got 3 champion contender guys right off the bat, which would be quality. And I think there's good speculation to be had. I've got a Segrist because maybe he leaves Celtic and plays. He probably doesn't. He probably goes Red Cross or something, but imagine he doesn't. I won the Backman, which was lucky, of course. And do I have anyone else that falls into this? No. The other guy we won who was a kind of fortuitous luck kind of win, as it were, as well. So yeah, I think goalkeepers are kind of underpriced, and I think but it depends on the region and stuff like that as well, and it depends on what you're looking at. So I don't think champion is. Let's see, can I look at a champion out of season? What's an All Black out of season? 300 quid. See, he's quite, You know, he's normally in and around the elite, but being cheap. You know, he's like cheap elite. And what did we say Hradecki was? Maybe the same? Wow, Hradecki's £100 cheaper. So I don't know if that's cheap for a rare keeper. That could maybe be a little bit cheaper for non-champions. Certainly. It's an in-season Neuer, I wonder. What does that go for? By the way, not that bad. So yeah. Like this Perites guy as well. 84 quid's maybe a bit punchy. Need to see where he goes on loan next year. But wow, man, even look at that. Limer, 50 quid in season. He's going to play. You just need to watch when he's playing, you know. That's not bad at all. Mueller, this is an auction, obviously, but yeah, I wouldn't. You'd be surprised with even an elite team like this. There is still some bits you could get in. Mazraoui, is that an auction? No. When he's fit, or whatever happens with him, that's not a bad card to have. I know Goretzka's mad cheap anyway. I kind of... Flecken is cheap. I wanted to get Raya. Yeah, Flecken's quality, man. Flecken is quality. I don't think he's done enough peak scores this season for his price to be any more than what it is. Like, I think his price is kind of fair because he's... Although, like, part of the value is reliability. Like, he's playing all the time. You know he's high quality. There's no incentive to replace him or, you know, danger of him being dropped. That's a huge part of the value of a guy like this because, like, how many games, weeks has he really won you here? On screen here, 6. And then we go back to the Bundesliga here. And then so we then include maybe an R2. So then you're really looking at how many game weeks did they not kill you. And then you maybe get another half a dozen scores in there. So it's not he's not overall that great a keeper. But one thing I love with keepers is just nailed on certainty. Like, this guy is quality. The team back him. He's number one. He's going to be number one. Wow, even out of season, that's not bad at all. That is good. I like that. And there is a bit of an international potential for him now. There is maybe a little bit of food chain activity. Maybe somebody else would buy him, maybe, but I don't think so. I think one that's a decent play for a punt, it's a wee bit punchy. I was so close to buying one. I think McBride bought one, and I was like a day later or something, like, oh, I really should have got one as well. Yeah, he's went up in price, but with Ederson being injured, this guy's already came out and said he wants to play first team football next year. He could be quality. Like, he scores really well. And some of you guys might not know or remember this, but before he was at Man City in the Bundesliga, like, he was a good goalkeeper. Will we get to see this easy enough? Let's see. Yeah, here we go. He was a good keeper, and the team he was at were ranked rotten. BFL, they must have got relegated, didn't they? He was like good. He was like bailing them out. He was doing all sorts of crazy action, and this team were conceding lots of goals and stuff. So he is like a good keeper, capable of big scores in any caliber of team. So I like, he's maybe a wee bit expensive compared to the likes of Flecken, because you just don't know where he's going to end up, and it might be non-champion, which is a real risk. And who else did you say there? Raya. Raya's really evolving now at Arsenal, so fair enough. There's a bit more certainty and a bit more strength around him. But I'm not sure what you see is cheap in him, unless he's auctioning cheaper than what these market listings. Nice. He's about £500. I don't know how cheap we see him as being. Alex Ramiro is cheap as well. 14 clean sheets. Do you think he's cheap? I was just looking at him and I say not cheap. Alex Ramiro is Sociedad, doesn't he? That's the same Ramiro we're talking, yeah. Is it maybe out of season you're talking? Out of season's a wee bit cheaper. Not only one available, but yeah, I suppose he's not that bad. Good amount of clean sheets. I don't really rate Alex Ramiro too highly. Like, he is good, but if Sociedad got a better keeper, I wouldn't be surprised. Unlimited. Oh, unlimited, yeah, it's probably dirt cheap. Because he does have a few bum scores there. That just puts people off when they see that. But yeah, he is good, man. Like, he is good. No two ways about it. But when I just watched Sociedad, I just... Like, he is good. I don't give him enough credit, I would say. But I'm not overly sold on him. But he is good. I wouldn't pay this for him, you know. I would have him. I would have him for sure. Right, guys, I wonder. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get an offer to our direct offers. I think we're going to get dinged. I think we've maybe insulted. Maybe we're getting dinged. What do you think about Kaminsky? Now, Kaminsky's an interesting one. Certainly to get relegated. Has he done enough to be transferred into the Premier League again? I'm going to say no. Does he stay at Luton? I don't think he's been there long, so I'm going to suggest he does. So this is a Challengers goalkeeper probably, isn't it? Quite cheap. Thinking about it in that way. Let's see what his contract is. I'm looking at rare, of course. I don't know if you're looking at limited perhaps or whatever, but his contract, date joined is August 23, and it doesn't tell us when it expires, but I'm going to imagine it was more than a 1-year contract that he signed from Blackburn for 3 million quid. It's got to be a 2 or 3 year contract. It'll probably be on Twitter in the announcement when they signed him, but yeah, 100 quid for that doesn't seem too bad, does it? Kevin Mueller at Heidenheim is underrated. Ooh, I love guys like that. I think we've looked at this guy before, actually. Maybe someone's got him in their gallery, or maybe yourself, Jack. Maybe you've mentioned him before. 8-8 isn't great there. I suppose if they're conceding goals, but the thing with Heidenheim is they're like Hoffenheim and Baumann, Oliver Baumann, where, oh yeah, he can peak out, can't he? Jesus. Wow. He can peak out big. That was a good run of form back here. Great run of form. He's winning. See this period here, he's winning you shit. No two ways about it. You're going to be happy to have this guy in your club. Against Nuremberg, Bielefeld, Darmstadt, Fortuna. Yeah, so this is a bit of Bunde 2. This is Bundesliga 2. And then this is Bundesliga from here. So yeah, he's still done okay, I suppose, hasn't he? Especially for the amount of goals they concede. Like, limited for a £5. Yeah, sure. If the rare goes for the same price, sign me up. But yeah, I like him. Excellent, guys. I was hoping to maybe bat an offer or two back, but I don't think we're going to get it. And yeah, the birthday rewards, guys, were kind of naff. I hope you've had a good rewards day yourself. I hope St. Patrick's Day weekend was good to you. I hope, actually, it's probably the one thing to maybe look at is we do have one lineup, I think. We're praying and hoping that Vasilj gets the start at home to the Ukraine, is it? He's getting promoted into the Bundesliga, and Big Sech is fucked off to Saudi Arabia or Qatar or something. So, I want Vasilj to get his time. I don't think he's going to get it. I think he had a horrible couple of caps for Bosnia whenever I've had this card already. But Take, Maeda, Tanaka, a wee bit of a Japanese trifecta here with Shino in the back. Let's cross our fingers and toes for that. Captain Tanaka, of course, kicking ass and taking names. And then I think coming into the weekend, I'm not sure, do I have any teams? Yeah, I've got maybe 2 teams. I can't remember what the deal is with Sean John, if he's back or not. So I'll look into that. But either way, I've not got any other options. So not much going on. International break for me. And I don't have enough in season to get involved with MLS or whatever. So that's a wee bit of what's going on for the next couple of game weeks, guys. Wish me the best of luck. And maybe we'll be back for some more reward openings. If you're watching this after we've been live, then thanks very much for watching this. And everyone that has been watching it live, of course, fist bump to you all. Thanks a lot for joining us. Thanks for the luck he's brought me with the cards that we did win. So let's see how all that shakes out. And yeah, don't forget to check out all the content that's been dropping on the channel over the last week or so. And stay out of trouble. And I'll catch you on the next one.
Terrible.